And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. Trying to get there. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share with your family and friends because the insanity, wait till you hear today's episode. The insanity, it doesn't stop. Now, yesterday, you're all aware, 7 EU leaders met with Trump and Zelenskyy in the White House to discuss the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Now, they walked away somewhat positively, with Trump, of course, agreeing to have security guarantees for Ukraine, which, of course, was very vague. Now, Trump then afterwards spoke to Putin on the phone, and he agreed to meet with Zelenskyy at a later date. Okay, now, despite this all, last night after the peace talks, if you want to even call them that, Russia, that's what you do after peace talks, attacked Ukraine because nothing says peace like sending overnight 270 drones and missiles into Ukraine, destroying yet more buildings and taking more lives. Now, this morning, Trump, of course, calls into Fox and Friends, and he spoke to the hosts about his meeting yesterday. And in a very revealing moment, the host asked Trump about his call to Putin. Trump, of course, said that he didn't want to disrespect Putin by calling in front of the various 7 EU leaders, because respecting Putin is clearly a priority. Play the clip.
During the meeting yesterday, when you decided to call Vladimir Putin, what was the reaction among the other people in the room, and what was President Putin's reaction to being brought into a phone call in the middle of your meeting?
Well, I think they expected it. I didn't do it in front of them. I thought that would be disrespectful to President Putin. I wouldn't do that because they have not had the warmest relations. And actually, President Putin wouldn't talk to the people from Europe. I mean, that was part of the problem. They had no communication. They had no communication with the White House for years as people died. Years with Biden and his people. No communication. Putin told me years. It was years that he didn't speak to anybody from the White House. And it was a long time that he didn't speak to anybody from Europe. No, it's a fractured relationship. And when I came in, I always had, despite the Russia hoax, which truly was a very dangerous thing for our country, but despite that, I maintained a very good relationship. I mean, you saw that when he got off his plane, I got off my plane. There's a warmth there that you can't, there's a decent feeling. And it's a good thing, not a bad thing. People would say, oh, that's such a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing. You know what? We've got the most nuclear weapons in the world and the most powerful. He's got second.
So can you describe for us how that happened? Did you just announce that you were going to go into the other room to make the phone call, and then you got up and left and then came back?
I think they sort of knew I was at the end of the meeting. I was going to call President Putin, and President Putin expected it, and he was there. Now, by the time I called him, it was 1 o'clock in the morning in Russia. Russia's a big place. They have 11 time zones, I believe, 9 or 11, but I think it's 11.
But
think
Mr.
of it,
President,
11 time zones. That's a lot of time zones. So it was late. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, but he picked it up very happily. He's sure he works very hard, like we all do. And
again, the question that was asked was about the EU leaders, not about Biden. Trump was also asked about the most surprising outcome from the talks yesterday. Play that clip.
In the course of having these negotiations, what has surprised you the most between Zelenskyy and Putin in terms of their strength or weakness of their position right now?
Well, I think the fact that maybe they're getting along a little bit better than I thought. Otherwise, I wouldn't have set up the 2 meeting. I would have set up the 3, a trilat. But I think they're doing a little bit better. There's been tremendous bad blood. And again, this was all worked out by an administration that didn't have a clue. And if you remember, they said, well, if you made a minor incursion, that would be okay. That was the end. The whole thing when Biden made that statement. But minor incursion, what does that mean? So I think they're doing okay. I wouldn't say they are ever going to be best friends, but they're doing okay. And we're just going to see. So we're setting up a meeting. I sort of set it up with Putin and Zelenskyy. And, they're the ones that have to call the shots. We're 7,000 miles away, in all fairness. We have We spent through the previous administration $350.
Yeah, and then he's going to go on and he's going to start talking about we've spent over $300 billion. Not true, right? He's talking about that they're going to be meeting when. I mean, if you're really interested in peace talks, again, the thing that you don't do literally the night after the initial conversation is send 270 drones and missiles into that neighboring country. Now, I want to bring something up. In that clip, Trump implies, this is great, he implies that it was his decision for Putin and Zelenskyy to meet alone. Politico, however, reported that it was actually Putin was the one who said that he just wanted it to be him and Zelenskyy. Let me show you the Politico article. In it, it turns around and it says, Trump offered to go straight to a trilateral meeting. Senior administration official told Playbook that when Trump called Putin to offer his presence at a meeting between Zelenskyy and the Russian leader, Putin said, "You don't have to come. I want to see him one-on-one." Trump's team started working on that, the official said. Steve Witkoff has the assignment to get it figured out. Wow. Okay. Good luck for that. Right? Because basically what Steve Witkoff does is he goes there, he shakes a lot of hands, turns around and says, listen, we need to come up with a resolution, gets the answer from Putin, comes back straight to Trump's office and tells him what Putin said. There's no discussion. Witkoff has no experience in diplomacy, doesn't even really understand what this entire war is probably even about. But Trump then, of course, blamed Ukraine. Once again, it's like he goes right back to the mistakes. He goes right back to the failed talking points that those of us that have half a clue, not even a full clue, a half a clue, know is wrong. Trump blames Ukraine for being invaded? Play the clip.
Mr. President, did y'all discuss any land swaps yesterday? Because we've talked a lot about the Donbass region. And what was the feeling in the room? What did the other leaders say about this?
Well, they understand. Look, everybody can play cute and this and that, but, Ukraine's going to get their life back. They're going to stop having people killed all over the place, and they're going to get a lot of land. But this was a war, and Russia is a powerful military nation, whether people like it or not. It's a powerful nation. It's a much bigger nation. It's not a war that should have been started. You don't do that. You don't take on a nation that's 10 times your size and military experts look, if it wasn't for the greatest military equipment, we make the greatest military equipment in the world, and we gave them.
Jesus, we're going to go right back to that bullshit. Let me be very clear as it relates to Russia. Yes, Russia is perceived to be a military might. As you can see, according to at least Trump, Ukraine is 10 times weaker than Russia. We're going on year three in a war. That's almost like saying Mike Tyson is 10 times stronger than a junior high school kid, and you think it's going to go 12 rounds? Maybe I think not. Trump then explained that Putin doesn't want to involve NATO because it would require enemies of his to be on his border. Play that clip.
Russia said we don't want the so-called opponent or the enemy, let's use that term, we don't want them on our border. And they were right. They were okay. And yet they went in and they asked with the United States, they said, put us into NATO. And everybody knew you just can't do that. They would never have agreed to it. This is before Putin. This is long before Putin. This was
Again, he conflates 11 different things all into one. And none of it is relevant as far as this Putin-Zelenskyy meeting. Now, for whatever the reason may be, Trump seems to think that these peace talks are as simple as a real estate deal, as he went on and he just rambled about Obama giving away Crimea and the Gaza Strip. Seriously? Play the clip.
President Putin said, no NATO. And you said, we're just going to take that off the table. But you did get President Putin to agree to NATO-like protections. So tell us about that. What does that entail?
Well, the war really started over NATO and Crimea. And they wanted Crimea back. That was given, not a shot fired by President Obama in perhaps the worst real estate deal I've ever seen. There's been a couple of them. I would say the Gaza Strip was a pretty bad one, too, given by Israel so they'd have peace. So they gave away a big percentage of their oceanfront property in order to have peace. How did that work out? Not so good. And Crimea is the apple of Ukraine. I mean, it's so beautiful. And Obama gave it away. Nobody ever mentions that. If I ever did that, the fake news would be, they would be writing about me day and night for years. He gave it away. He demanded that they let it go. And Russia came in and took it, just took it like from a candy from a baby. And it was really Obama's, not really, I mean, that was pure and simple, Obama's fault. What a terrible thing he did to that country. And so they lost their heart. They lost the heart and soul of the Ukraine 14 years ago, whatever it might be.
And yet they're fighting 3 years. 3 years. And they're actually hurting Russia as much as Russia is hurting them. Trump then, of course, said that he wants to solve all of these wars. Good, good. It's exactly what we want from our U.S. president, right? He wants to solve all these wars so that he can go to heaven. That's a new one. Play the clip.
Just want to end it. I want to end it. You know, we're not losing American lives. We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities like Kiev and towns. But, you know, if I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven.
Oh, I see. Do a good deed here, get admitted to heaven. Sure. Meanwhile, the interview literally began to go a bit off the rails when Trump was asked what will happen after his presidency regarding Russia and Putin. Play that clip.
What happens after your presidency? How can we ensure that this conflict, that Putin doesn't inch in closer or more into the Ukraine territory? Is there anything that we can do? Can our congressmen and women pass any laws that would involve Article 5? How would that be handled? All
you can do is make sure you get a good president, not one of these wackos like in California that runs the worst state anybody's seen, or that guy in Illinois who his family threw him out of the business because he was no good. Now he's running Illinois and he wants to run for president. He's got zero chance. Maybe Newsom has a little bit of a chance. I don't know, but it's hard to believe because his record's bad. But
yeah. Meanwhile, the last clip literally shows Trump fully off the rails now, literally rambling about DC restaurants. I mean, this is Fox News. This is the bullshit. When you watch this garbage, rambling and allowing it and just smirking and laughing in the background about DC restaurants and talking about Fox and Friends host Ainsley Earhart's relationship with Sean Hannity, as if any of us give a shit. Play the clip.
But Mr. President,
now I'm doing something that I'm having such fun with because I'm helping people. I've made Washington D.C. Just an incredible place. In literally 4 days, I have friends that say they're going out to dinner. Did you see what's happening with the restaurants? They're bursting. Yes, they were all closing and going bankrupt. I mean, it would be. It would be great. There's a guy named Sean Hannity. He might take a very lovely young lady that he knows very, very well to dinner in Washington, and they don't have to. And she's sitting right next to you, by the way.
That's right. But Mr. President,
I don't want to get him in trouble. So
yeah. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Sean has taken her out many times, and yet there she is. But because I believe in facts, and I always fact check things for you, I went on Open Table Data, and Open Table Data shows that DC restaurants right now are experiencing a 25% drop after Trump announced the federalization of DC police. Don't take my word for it. Go check it out yourself on Open Table. It's true. It's why we have to stop this stupidity. And we can only do it together. So help me. Hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.